Geeks worldwide, what is up? I'm excited to be back. It's your host with the most, DARTH SPARROW, the one and only. I'm super excited to be back with my fellow geeks, talking all the beautiful things that I've missed in the last 2 weeks. You know, doing life stuff, moving, getting ready to get married, all that other exciting stuff. But I'm excited, and we are here with a whole freaking panel of awesome guests tonight. So it's going to get crazy. So we're not going to spend too much time talking the small talks, but I am going to introduce my co-host tonight, the one and only Mr. Jonathan Reyes. How you doing today, John?
What is up? I'm back. I've been on the show 3 times in the last 4 weeks.
Wow,
so no longer. Yeah, no longer am I just a poppin' every other month.
Yes, you're breaking some records this year, man.
Yeah, no, but it's great. I always like being on. This is fun.
John, what have you been up to this week, man?
Oh,
Hopefully
wow.
not as much as me.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 things that I've kind of done that have been pretty cool, I've been into The Division, the game that came out last Tuesday. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I'm covering all things Daredevil for the website. We'll get more into it later, but
we're gonna talk some.
So I'm kind of like preparing myself for the new season by rewatching season 1. So I watched so episode 1 and 2 the last 2 days. So today I'm gonna watch 3.
Okay.
And then maybe tomorrow I'll be home, so maybe I'll watch more in a row. But it's been nice going back to kind of remind myself of the tone and the pace and all that kind of stuff of that show, because I forgot a lot about it.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to kind of remind myself of what I'm gonna get back into.
Yeah.
Or what we're all gonna get back into.
Yeah. I think I've almost watched the whole thing twice, because I watched it obviously when it came out, and then I watched it again with my dad, because he's kind of like a semi, Marvel MCU aficionado. Not as expert level as we are, but I like the cool comic stuff, so he had to show him that cool comic stuff, and he got halfway through it. So, but I hear you. I think I need to watch the rest of it again. So, because it's coming, man. It's coming this week.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we'll like you said, we'll get into that later. But for now, let's introduce our esteemed guest for the evening. We are, as always, excited to have once again returning with us, Mr. Eliot Rahal, also Mr. Kendall Goode, and Daniel Kibblesmith. They're here to talk about their new book that's going to drop tomorrow, right, guys?
Yeah, it's coming out tomorrow.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Well, welcome to the show, guys. We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this is fun. This
Yes.
is the first time I think we've all been on the phone together or seen each other's faces at once. This is fun.
We were all on the phone for the very first time.
Phone call.
Yes.
This is the first time we've all
when
looked
you guys
at each
asked
other.
me if I wanted to do this project.
Yeah.
And ever since, it's been emails and me talking to Eliot.
Yeah.
Or
And me
the
talking
time
to
I
Eliot.
did, or the time I did meet Eliot in person. So that was pretty
It was
radical.
fun. It was fun. It was very fun.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is there's like some extra special magic in the air tonight, right? We're all together.
Mhm.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's like the quickening for our book.
Yes.
I was going to say Christmas, but yeah, sure, the quickening.
So Eliot, if it's okay, since we'll say you're a varsity player on the show tonight, we'll talk a little bit to Daniel and Kendall and kind of get their origin story. So Daniel, tell us what your geek origin story, how you got into the whole geek thing that you're doing right now.
Well, my dad was a Marvel Comics guy in the 60s,
Yeah.
and he had a big collection of Silver Age issues. But I was never really interested in comic books for the first 9-10 years of my life. And then but what I really liked was video games. Now I'm very interested in comic books and not interested in video games almost at all. But at the time, it was the reverse. And we went to this video arcade called the Fun Zone in Melrose Park by Triton College, if anybody lives in Illinois.
Yeah, I know that one very well.
Yeah, and it is not there anymore. The college is there. The Fun Zone is gone. They had the big multi-screen X-Men arcade game with 6 players.
Oh yeah. That was money right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was your money going in. And so I was immediately enthralled by like, who are these? Like, because I knew Batman and Superman and Spider-Man because they had cartoons on the air, but at the time the X-Men didn't have a cartoon yet. I said, who are these characters? And he's like, oh, that's Wolverine. That's Nightcrawler. I can show you all those guys.
Yeah.
So then we got the big box of comics out, and like this time it really, really clicked.
Yeah.
And yeah, ever since then, I've been a big comics fan, and just kind of falling in and out of love with it, and like rediscovering, like getting turned on to like indie stuff and Vertigo stuff in high school and college. Everybody does, and kind of getting that second love. A lot of people who grew up reading comics in the 90s, I think, kind of put them on the shelf for a while, and then a friend of mine is like, oh, have you ever read Swamp Thing? Have you ever read Sandman? And then, yeah, I got sucked right back in.
You're right. I think a lot of us are, I mean, I had the same issue. I really didn't start, rediscovering comics until I joined up with the show, and now, of course, I'm like, buying 3 or 4 books a week, and, trying desperately to keep up with things. So, yeah, I hear you. What was the first comic book character? Even, I mean, it sounds like X-Men was really kind of your introduction to comics. Like, what was the first comic book character that really like struck a chord with you on a, I guess we'll say on a personal level? I think we all kind of have that one character that we're like, I really love this thing about this character. Is there anybody specific?
Yeah, especially seeing that arcade machine, it was definitely Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Because at the time, I mean, Batman and Superman and even Spider-Man all felt very safe. And the idea that there was a hero who was not just like beyond design, like obviously the design is offbeat and he looks like a demonic figure, but like his posture and his energy and the skulking, and the idea that the scope of this was so much bigger than I realized. That when you were having team books, there were room for true weirdos. Right. So it was definitely Nightcrawler was and remains my favorite comic book character.
Love it.
Well, I thought it was Daredevil, Daniel.
Well, that's the thing. You get a little older, you start having girl troubles.
Yes.
You work a couple bad jobs, maybe you lose a fight or two.
Someone destroys your life.
So somebody destroys your life 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
No, so as an adult, the character that I kept up the most with is Daredevil, and I actually that's the trades that I make sure to buy the complete collection of, and I actually have on my wall was a birthday present from my girlfriend is a Alex Maleev original painting of Daredevil in the yellow costume. And that hangs in a place of like prominence.
Yes.
In our home. So
yes.
The patron saints of Catholic guilt, I guess.
Beautiful. Everybody's got to have that one like artifact that's like the Holy Grail in your house.
That's ours.
Mine is my autographed Avengers poster. That's autographed by most of the cast.
Oh, that's awesome. Beautiful. Yes. That's so cool.
Yes, that was the first thing that went into this new apartment. So. Mr. Kendall, tell us your origin story, sir.
I mean, birth? I don't know. Like I have
maybe not that far back, but
literally no memory of being separated from comics. Mm-hmm. Like growing up, I was super into the X-Men, like really into the X-Men, and like at different points in time, I like really got into certain storylines in the comics, like as the 90s went on, like the Onslaught stuff, and later on with like there was the 12 storyline, which I really liked, and then eventually, like Joss Whedon's astonishing X-Men run, like X-Men all the way, until recently, actually, when I don't really care about the X-Men anymore. But, I mean, like, I have memories as early on, like just we had comics. We had, at least a couple comics in the house. My brother, a couple years older than me, so like I got a lot of that interest from him. And then we had a cousin who was even a couple years older than him. So it's like a lot of this learning from them. Like I remember I had the older cousin. He was really good at drawing, and so I'd be forced to go to church on Sundays, and he would be there, and he would be drawing pictures of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that was one of the coolest things ever to me, just that idea of like how good he was at drawing. And so I was surrounded by a lot of like people with interests in general, you know, like genre culture. And yeah, I mean, like I remember when I was like 5 or something like that, I drew my first comic book, and the reason it stands out so much is because it was an X-Men comic, and it was stapled on the wrong side because I was an idiot. So, you know, yeah, like yeah, I mean, I've just always been into comics. I mean, I went to college for sequential art, so like you know, I'm in debt for comics. Yeah, like I would say my favorite book of all time at this point is probably Invincible. You know, I like superhero stuff. I like superhero stuff probably more than most things. But yeah, I mean, I've just always had things around me that were comics, nerds, stuff related.
Excellent, man. It was always there for you, right?
Yeah.
It's never any doubt. It's good, man.
Yeah.
Elliot, what's up, man?
Not much, man. I'm just listening to all these great stories. My friends talk about how much they like comic books. It's nice.
Yeah. Good. Elliot, what do you? So we already know kind of your origin story. What have you been up to since last we talked? There's a little book called The Paybacks. How did everything go with that?
Yeah, Paybacks is great. I mean, it's been a crazy year. I moved from the South to Minneapolis, and that was cool. And then the Paybacks came out, and you know, first 4 issues went there, and people really liked it.
Right.
We have an announcement to make about the Paybacks this weekend, actually, during C2E2, so that'll be good. Donnie, hi, Donnie. And
hi, Donnie.
Hi.
And you know, then doing this thing with Kendall and Daniel, and then that's been really exciting. And got some books lined up for the future, which I'm excited about, and I'm doing a Stila book as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, they're good people. But aside from that, you know, same shit, man. Just time to keep the gun out of my mouth, right? No,
hey, I think we've all been there. Elliot, talk to
everyone.
That's right. So Elliot, let's talk about the book we want to talk about today, The Doorman.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the idea, what the story is about, kind of how it came about.
The story, I guess, was just a thing that I was bouncing. Daniel and I, we've been working together for over a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half, and you know, we came up with this idea called Dead Guys or Ghost Dudes, and we tried to make that go somewhere.
We changed the name enough times that I refer to it alternatively as Ghost Brothers or Ghost Buddies.
Why am I not drawing that book?
We didn't know about you yet. You would have gotten that call. But yeah, I mean, actually, we do have pages, and they're really great. The art's fantastic, but yeah, we couldn't quite make it happen. But Eliot was kicking around this other idea.
Yeah, basically, and it was just about, I'm like, what if there were doors and there was somebody who had to guard them?
Yes. And by the way, if you're just listening, not watching, Elliot's sitting in front of a doorway right now. It's pretty awesome.
It's very appropriate.
Yes.
No, I mean, it was a half-baked little idea, and I shot it to Daniel, and I was like, I was thinking about doing this thing next. Anything interest you? And he got back to me, and we just started kicking it back and forth, and then we're like, let's do it.
Yeah, I had just recently moved to New York, and even Eliot says it was half-baked, but the sort of like the core theme was there, and like the core sort of like visual style, at least like a goal for the visual style was there, which was to do something kind of like Art Deco that actually harkened to that industry, or that era where there was like a big service industry, and also like the dignity of work. And a sort of like, you know, like a pseudo-Marxist kind of. We had very like lofty aspirations for it. But I had just moved to New York, and I was walking back from the grocery store, and I saw on a snowy day in Manhattan a doorman, an actual doorman, standing in front of a building, not in the lobby, but outside of it, kind of like a sentry standing guard, and he had this he had a uniform on, not unlike the one that Kendall ended up designing for our protagonist, Henry Clay Waters, but he had a uniform on with this, like, perfect hat, like, cylindrical hat, and, like, long, sweeping, almost like a Matrix coat.
Yeah.
And I saw in real life, like, a super heroic doorman, and I called Eliot, and I said, oh, you had that idea. We should totally do that.
Yeah. And here we are. And then basically, you know, we found Kendall, we reached out to him, and we tricked him. And
Begged/tricked.
Yeah.
You
know,
taunted him with delusions of grandeur and things like that?
essentially.
Yes.
But, you know, now we're here, and it's been really cool working and getting to know with Kendall, too. It's been fun.
Yes.
Now,
For sure.
while we're on the topic of Kendall, I wanted to ask, why him as an artist, and Kendall, why did you jump on with them when they asked?
Well, I can say on my end, when I first saw Kendall's portfolio, and there were these great colored images of who's it? From Star Trek.
The Ferengis, right?
Ferengis. I wonder.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not right. But yeah, the Ferengis.
Yeah.
I saw those, and I was like, oh, this guy can draw really cool space stuff.
Yeah.
And as I looked further, I'm like, oh, this guy can draw really cool space stuff.
And we thought at the time, and I don't want to tell Kendall's story for him, but we thought at the time that he was doing licensed DS9 comics. I love DS9.
I wish.
But why? I just assumed, why would anybody be drawing DS9 comics if they weren't getting paid?
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, X-Men growing up was like my favorite thing, but Star Trek is basically my favorite thing ever. Like, there's nothing I like more than Star Trek. So that's why I would be willing to draw any Star Trek comic for free. But
don't say that.
Hey. But yeah, I mean, like, these guys came to me with like an idea that I thought sounded both unique and along the lines of things that are really cool right now, and things that I have a lot of affinity for. Like, we brought up Futurama. Like, Futurama is like such a solid show with such a unique style, and so much of the Doorman relies on humor, and that's something I really like, is that the way they've written it marries both humor and this action drama and weird sci-fi elements, and just hearing the idea, it was to me worthwhile to, at the very least, try to do this pitch. I mean, I get people asking me sometimes to work on stuff, and I want to make comics, but it doesn't always necessarily fit with kind of who I am as an artist or what I know I can do. So I think almost right away when hearing their idea, I thought it was something that I can like kind of put my stamp on and kind of create with them. And I think it's turned out pretty well so far. So
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and no question that it is a co-creation. Like, Kendall has just like fully realized a world that we love to inhabit. We get to inhabit.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun opening up an email from Kendall, because it's usually full of really dope shit.
Yeah.
That's me and Eliot's writing styles, by the way. That's our partnership.
We love that dope shit on the show, guys.
And it could do like I guess to kind of go deeper into this world now is like, how did you start? You spoke about how you thought of the Doormen and how they kind of like they're protectors of the realm. Is that kind of your idea behind it? I kind of go deeper into what they are.
Sure. You know what? Basically, what the Doorman is that like every planet in the like universe has on its surface a door, and they're basically the intergalactic highway Stargate system. And in order to operate those, you need a porter who is like this ancient space union, right?
They have uniforms and everything.
Yes, exactly. They have uniforms and everything.
Do they get good benefits too?
Yeah.
They get good benefits. There's a retirement plan. You find that out in the first issue.
It's a mandatory retirement plan. Yeah.
Yes.
And basically, it's like they operate the doors. Without them, no one can go through or go out. And we had this like Night's Watch element to their sort of union, where like they were like this really important thing, and then you see our character Henry, who's sort of just washed up and jaded because his experience working as the doorman from Earth has like really sucked. And Daniel, if you want to join in.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he's the proverbial few days from retirement, and it wasn't the life of adventure he was promised. So it's actually this kind of crazy situation where he's been living in pseudo-solitary confinement for almost 40 years because, for mysterious reasons, nobody goes to Earth anymore. Earth stopped being a popular destination for aliens. So the doorman in charge of guarding the door to Earth has had no visitors for decades. Okay. And then on the day where his retirement committee is supposed to show up, the doorbell rings and it's an assassin sent to kill him. Yeah. And all the action just proceeds from there.
And the Doorman is basically, the idea is like, let's find a story from the obscure side of the viewpoint. Like, arguably, Henry Clay Waters, like, the idea of him is that, like, almost the villain thinks this book is about him. And, like, Henry...
He totally does.
Yeah. And Henry and Flower are, like, our sort of dark horses that come from behind. And I feel as though they're trying to convince the audience, like, no, we're the heroes, because they are very bad at heroing.
Gotcha. So speaking of being bad at heroing, Donnie recommended we ask why is his name Henry Clay Waters. Is there a story behind that?
No, other than, like, I pitched it, and, you know, I was thinking about a lot of service industry jobs before this, especially, like, blue-collar ones, like plumber, and for some reason, like, he gave me, like, a plumber vibe, and I thought hot and cold, and then the word water, and I was like, that's fun, and then I'm like...
I didn't know this story.
No, it was just sometimes I was just trying to write a character name that sounded like it would fit the job.
Right.
Yeah, it stuck immediately. I think it sounds real to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It sounds like a guy with quiet dignity, which is what we're going for. Our protagonists are people who sort of are a little bit invisible, unhappy at work, and kind of living on the margins.
Right. What about the koala? I'm supposed to ask about that too.
What about the koala?
Well, readers and listeners, if you look up anything about the Doorman and you look up our issue 3 cover, there's a koala with a little antenna, a little space koala. And
beautifully designed by Kendall.
So good. Sometimes, Kendall, when I or Daniel give you things to draw, and it makes, I don't know about you, Daniel, but sometimes it makes me feel like a real idiot when it's like, okay. So,
like for example, give us like the most off the wall thing you've asked Kendall to draw.
In a recent script, I think one of my favorite things is a new character that you're going to see employed, and also asking them to make a Colonel Tom Parker alien. Do you know who Colonel Tom Parker is?
I don't.
That's Elvis's evil manager from real life.
Okay.
Elliot, you say evil, and I hear effective.
But he was like a real-life villain, and I'm looking forward to seeing that turned into a weird alien. And then, like, I don't know, telling anybody that there's going to be a main character that is a koala, that is a living dictionary of all information in the known universe, and is like basically a living USB drive, Daniel?
It's a biological hard drive.
Oh, wow.
It's all of the secret information in the known universe is encoded on its DNA, and that's why it has antenna, because you can access it via the antenna. You can plug it in like a USB cable.
And they look super cute too. Yeah, his name is the Qualmanac.
The Qualmanac. Can we get a USB drive that looks like a Qualmanac?
It will make it my mission to.
Yeah. Call Kickstarter.
There's so much merchandising I want to do.
Yeah, it just writes itself, man. It's ridiculous.
It does.
Yeah, you and us both, Kendall.
I want to push it all real bad.
I just want a real one.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna cut to the chase and get a koala. I've got a taste for it now.
Just staple some antenna onto it. It'll be fine.
No, Spirit. No, they're not going to take my baby away.
Yeah.
So, guys, obviously dealing with the premise of the story, and you know, there's doorways to different planets and things. Like, how do you really try? I mean, because obviously, I mean, you just basically have an infinite like number of destinations you can explore in your book. Like, what I mean, besides Earth, like, is there any other really specific locations that your story kind of goes to or kind of takes place around?
Sure, Dan. Why don't you start, and I'll jump in where you.
Sure. Well, one of the most important locations is one of my favorite things that we did in the first issue is you asked what the weirdest thing that we asked Kendall to draw was. Yeah. I think the weirdest thing we asked Kendall to draw was Times Square.
Okay.
Which is right outside my workplace, and he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And then later in the book, we go to a Times Square equivalent on like a big, like a populous planet, like a kind of a Coruscant, like a city planet,
right.
Called Synergos, where all the corporations are based.
Okay.
So like right out of the gate, we're going to a planet that is a worse version of Times Square, or as our main character jokes, a slightly better version of Times Square.
Yeah.
But from there, I mean, the whole possibility, like kind of the whole point of the book, is jumping from world to world. So every scene transition can be like this crazy, drastic background change, and it kind of has that, to me at least, it has that original Star Trek kind of feel. Right. Where you get a feel for the planet as soon as you arrive, and they're all sort of like, especially because we have Kendall working on them, they're all very cohesive, and you can kind of like get a feel for them as soon as you pop on them. So yeah, we've got some really exciting stuff coming up. We've got like desert worlds and lava stuff. And
what was the lava one called? Mobius. Like, it's fun, the naming patterns, because it's like sometimes like they'll have like a Star Wars name where it's like Synergos, like that's cool.
Yeah, sometimes they'll have because we're just kind of like drawing from all our different influences. Yeah, one of the planets is named after Mobius. One of the planets is like kind of a riff on my home address. I'm not going to tell you which one.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. One of them is like derived from my home address, and like in hindsight, it's like, why did I do that? It's so stupid.
Hear that, guys? Look extra hard.
Yeah.
That's an Easter egg.
Yes.
Really, robbing me is a real Easter egg.
Find out where Daniel lives and take his stuff.
You just opened up a can of worms there, Daniel.
That's funny. I didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, it's also fun because Daniel's background is in comedy, and I have a background in comedy, and we both met doing comedy in Chicago. And so, like, a lot of things that, yes, require a setting change, we still want to make a joke out of it. So, like, planet titles or character names or just, like, even settings itself, it's like, oh, are they, winter world or a fire world? And it's like, this would be way funnier if it was a fire world. And like, and then that's kind of fun, just batting it back and forth. And then Kendall just doesn't say no ever. So.
I mean, it's pretty. I don't know. You guys have written some scripts that they're pretty easy to do for me, at least. I don't know. It's like the first issue is just. Well, like the first issue has such a good pacing, and it's like a run across the whole issue. And I really, I think it worked really well. And the second issue slows down a lot, but you still get what you're talking about, where you get to go to a crazy new planet, and it's just like really, you guys do a really great job with the humor in that it's thought out, but it doesn't necessarily detract. It's not like, hey, look at this joke. It's kind of like that's the whole world you guys have written, and I don't know. To me, it's pretty easy to visualize, and it's pretty easy for me to put down on paper.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you, Kendall. Do you find it really extra challenging, being that you could jump from a different world with a completely different setting all of a sudden from page to page? Does that ever present a scary challenge to you when you look at a script and go, oh crap, now I got to draw this in this page and this in this page?
Not so far. I mean, I don't know. I've read and I watch a whole lot of Star Trek, a whole lot of sci-fi, a whole lot of superhero comics spend a lot of time on other planets too. So I don't know. I think I have that just kind of in my mind, and I don't feel like it's too much of a struggle. Like you say, it's give me some idea of some sort of volcano planet or a mantis planet, and even though we don't necessarily see a whole lot because the story keeps moving, we get I try to do what I can to imply things. I don't like not drawing a whole lot of backgrounds, so I do what I can to give the reader an understanding, even if we're only going to be on that in that location for a page. So
yeah.
Definitely. And Kendall is also the letterer and the colorist, which is, first of all, insane. But in those Star Trek pages we were talking about earlier, one of my favorite things about them was that you used a color palette that was not familiar to Star Trek. You used a lot of crazy turquoise and hot pink and stuff, and that's so cool because you get to blend the familiar with this starkly contrasted new kind of wild psychedelia, and you do that on the Doorman as well. It's one of my favorite things about our book is that it's the colors just pop off the page, and it's not like other outer space stuff outside of maybe animation, but it's not it's not like a corridor video game where you're a Marine or something and you're under green light all the time, or gray hallways. It's not Star Wars, it's not Star Trek. It's more in the Rick and Morty, Futurama, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
To me, it's always been Wally-Wood has always been a big thing about this, and all that type of the great future of tomorrow. And I think, and those colors from back then though are if you notice it, very bright, friendly, soulful whites, clean whites and pastels, and the future was always a bright. Gene Roddenberry always wanted the future to be a bright place, and the same here. It's just told from a working class angle, which is fun.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Daniel, I had a question. What do you do besides write comics?
Oh man. So my day job is I'm a writer for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, awesome.
Which is super fun. We've been on the air since September. It's crazy. Every day is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a great time doing it. And I also I write and cartoon on the side. I'm the co-author of a humor book called How to Win at Everything that I believe you can get on Amazon for a penny.
Oh.
So yeah, you might want to take them up on that offer.
I want to win at everything.
Most people do. That's why we wrote the book. And here's the real secret: guys who write books about winning apparently sell them for a penny. But it's a real funny book. You can get that online, and yeah, and then I mostly I do comedy on the internet, and write. I write for the Colbert Show, and then I come home and I write comics with Eliot and Kendall.
Yeah.
And it's a busy days.
So real quick, you mentioned about meeting Eliot, doing comedy in Chicago. Tell us a little bit about that. How exactly did you guys meet?
I think it was through the Lincoln Lodge.
Absolutely, Lincoln Lodge. Yeah. Lincoln Lodge is like the secret hub of not just Chicago comedy at this point, but I think like this generation of comedy.
I think so.
It was. It's still a show. It's still a show in Wicker Park at Subterranean, I think. Right? Yeah, you're doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Eliot's going to be there.
Yeah.
For C2E2.
I'm going to be at real quick, huh? I'm going to be at CYSK, Parlor Car, the Lincoln Lodge, and then Daniel and I were throwing a comic book party, release party, comedy show extravaganza at Challenger's comic book store in Logan Square at 7:30. So everybody, so that'll be fun.
That's on Saturday night, the 19th during C2E2. Eliot, that was like the most stand-up comic thing that you like could possibly do, is just rattle off
a bunch of shit and then.
Check me out. I'm gonna be at Lincoln Lodge. I'm gonna be at Parlor Car. So yeah, I went to film school and had moved into making like comedic shorts like around the time YouTube was starting up, and I showed them at the Lincoln Lodge, which at the time was actually in the back of a diner, like a pancake house.
The Lincoln Restaurant on Irving, Lincoln, and Diversey?
Damon. Yeah. In Chicago.
Fuck. I should have known that.
Everyone in Chicago is going nuts right now, and nobody else cares.
Yeah, you lost your
Everybody's like, where are we?
Yeah. But Eliot was a stand-up, and I was showing videos, like weird like green screen videos and like puppets and stuff.
Santa Claus one is still great, man.
Oh, the Sky Mall Christmas?
Yeah, I love that one. I remember seeing that when I was in the lodge when I was like 23, and I was like, that's really funny.
Well, if you were 23, I was like 25. I was like, we were little babies.
Yeah. I hope I'm still a little baby. I'm not anymore.
But somehow we got to talking about comics, and at the time, Eliot, you were just beginning your writing career. Like, you were just beginning to put stuff together.
Something like that. I was either about to go to Marvel or we met afterwards. When I was pitching to Dark Horse Presents with.
I think that was it. You had done your internship. Like, we knew each other, and then you came back and we talked comics, and you were like, you had your internship at that point at Marvel, I think.
Yeah. And then basically we kept up, and then I reconnected with Daniel. Like, it's not like we ever fell apart. I don't.
Yeah, we had so many mutual friends. We always had an excuse to talk. Our friend, a very funny stand-up in Los Angeles who does a lot of stuff at Meltdown, actually. Joe Quazala, I think, was hosting the Lincoln Lodge one of those nights, and he was introducing Eliot. And he said, for some reason, our next comic wants me to say he's an independent comic book writer. And I thought that was fantastic. Because it is true. And, it's who you were. It's what you're working on. But the people in the Lincoln Lodge were like, okay, good to know. Not sure what to do with that information.
I was grasping for them to say anything before my name.
No, that's great. It was great. But even our friend was like,
why?
Barely understood what we were asking. But here we are. No longer fully independent comic book writers.
Oh boy.
Yes. Daniel, if you could write for any book, any character, present, past, what would you want to write for?
I have my comedy writer answer, which is Deadpool.
Yeah.
Every comedy writer wants to write for Deadpool, and now because of the movie, I don't think any of us have a chance. I think that's like a Bendis book now.
Yeah.
But I would say I would love to do something with the Prowler, the Spider-Man supporting character, Hobie Brown, purple costume, green Yeah, purple mask, purple crazy cape, green costume, those weird climby claws, like badger claws, almost. Yeah, I'd love to do something with the Prowler. Yeah, really, just anybody sassy. I'd like to do John Constantine.
Oh, yes.
Man, that would be
That would be fantastic. Secretly, my dad was a lawyer who wanted to write comic books, and now I'm writing comic books, and I kind of secretly want to be a lawyer. So I would love to do my second favorite character, Eliot's Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Daredevil, yes. Kendall, same question for art.
That's a tough one. I don't know. Like I really like doing my own stuff, but I mean, yeah, Star Trek would be a pretty big. But honestly, I'd like to do a wholly original Star Trek thing. I don't know.
Do you have a wholly original Star Trek idea, Kendall?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, I have a handful of wholly original Star Trek ideas. So.
I would really love to hear them, to be honest.
The thing that they did in the comics, I never understood why they didn't do it on TV, was the Academy.
Yeah. Well, they you know, it's like a couple episodes, but yeah, you know, it seems like perfect for CW right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put it next to Archie and Legends of Tomorrow in
Exactly.
their lineup.
Exactly. Yeah. When instead it's going to be on CBS's $6 internet source,
which everyone should subscribe to, so they can watch
it. Yeah.
And Star Trek.
Yes.
Excited for it.
Beautiful stuff. So guys, before we move on to our next segment, give us the deets. The book's dropping tomorrow, right?
Books dropping tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm
Doorman #1 from Heavy Metal
tonight.
Oh, that's it.
Woo! There it is. Good stuff.
But yeah, books drops tomorrow, March 16th, and then we'll be at C2E2, and then it'll be fun. I'm really excited to hear what people think. So far, pre-reviews have been positive, but I'm just excited to hang out and celebrate a lot of emailing back and forth.
We'll be there. Eliot and I will be there almost all day Saturday at C2E2. And then at night, we're going to jog over to Logan Square for the comedy show and signing at Challengers.
I'm very excited.
And then we will be back at C2E2 Sunday morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I will be signing for a couple hours on Saturday afternoon at the comic book shop I work at in College Park, Maryland. So, yeah.
That's awesome, guys. Man, you guys anywhere near these areas, I'm envious of you because I would love to be there, to release, partying with these guys because they're all amazing and we're super honored to have you guys. So, Daniel, why don't you go first and give us where our listeners can find you on the internet?
Sure. I am Kibblesmith. My last name, Kibblesmith, on every social media. So please get in touch.
Yeah. Eliot, where can we find you, sir?
Just Eliot Rahal, Twitter and Facebook, and cool guy at gmail.com.
Excellent. Kendall, where can we find you, my friend?
You can find me at Kendall Goode on Twitter, and then my Tumblr is kendalldgoode.tumblr.com. So.
Yeah. Hey guys, I just wanted to say I really loved I can't remember whose Twitter I just saw it on, but it was like the little order form for this book and like all the little rules you had of what to expect from the book was really fun. Specifically the thing about the pink gun, and if you don't want to use it and you're gonna make a really manly corpse.
That's good advice. Yeah, we made listicle. I've worked at a lot of places that make listicles, and we listicle.
Yeah.
Pretty gross.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that's you can find it. I think we've all tweeted it out at some point. You can find. I wrote it, and Kendall turned it into this beautiful order flyer with our diamond code on it, and it's how to survive in space.
Yes.
Everybody needs to know how to survive in space the Doorman way.
Yes. That's excellent. Well, I'm totally looking forward to reading this book tomorrow, guys. So thank you so much for coming on and talking.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We're gonna talk a little bit of comics for like 15 minutes. You guys want to stick around and join us?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to go to the restroom real quick.
Yes. We'll start and give you time, Elliot.
Yeah.
John Reyes, let's talk a little comic books first in our Weekend Geek,
All right.
and then we'll get to like TV and movie news after that. So, what'd you read this week, my brother?
What did I read recently? I've been keeping up with the Adventures of Supergirl stuff still.
Okay.
By Sterling Gates. Yeah,
Yes.
that's been really, really good, surprisingly. I think I was on this show with you when I said the first issue was kind of, it was pretty much the opening of the show in Word
Right.
format. But after that, the art is just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It's been surprising because I do like the show. I'm a little behind on the show right now, but I do like the show, and it's just more of Supergirl,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just well done. It's well written. Sterling Gates gets Supergirl. So if you like the show, if you just like Supergirl,
Yeah.
I would definitely pick up the comic because he's done a really nice job with it. Just overall. Trying to think about other ones. I got into I don't remember which one. I gotta see if I can pull it up. There's a Deadpool comic I was reading.
Yeah.
That's been really good too. It's one of the older ones. It's where like all the presidents are coming back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I think
been really
that's the
fun.
beginning of the Dugan Posehn
Yes,
run, right?
that's
Yeah,
it.
that was when like I don't know if that was all new, but yeah, it's a #1. I love that stuff.
Yeah,
It's probably
I
Marvel now.
just picked it up in February when the movie was coming out, and I said, oh, well, let me check this out. It was on the cheap, and it's funny, and that got me prepared for the movie, and it's good. So those are probably the two I would point out.
Right. Awesome. Let's see. This week, like I said, guys, I've been behind on my books with life stuff going on, but luckily I had like about 7 or 8 books that I hadn't got a chance to read yet. No surprise, we'll talk about Darth Vader number 16 first. From Gillen, LaRocca, and Delgado. Continues to be my favorite of the Star Wars books. The art is always beautiful. The writing is amazing. We're starting on a new story arc. Vader is helping a princess on another planet kind of take back the planet from some crazy land barons, and the planet is rich in like metals and materials that, of course, the Empire uses to build all their cool weapons of mass destruction. So, Vader being a badass and bringing down a whole city in like the center of the planet's core, it's pretty crazy. So that remains to be good. Star Wars number 16. Same writer, Aaron. They have some new artists on the book. Now, I always hate to say this, guys, Kendall especially, because I don't know shit about art. Okay, I can draw stick figures, so I hate to criticize art, but this new art style, not kind of the art style that I really like to see in my Star Wars books. A little bit different. It's definitely that rough sketch kind of where they do a lot of shadowing where the eyes should be instead of actual eyes. If you guys know what I'm talking about. So that kind of style is not my favorite, but it's always hard for me when they go to a new artist in a book to kind of almost like I have to re-get used to the book again. So that was kind of the issue I was having here. Of course, at the end of the Vader Down story arc, Dr. Aphra was captured by the rebels, and so in this issue they're taking her to this like super secret like prison planet somewhere. It's very like that movie Pitch Black. They've got that, what was it, Helion Prime or whatever. If you guys have seen Pitch Black with Vin Diesel.
It's been a while since I've seen Pitch Black.
I'm not even sure if I've seen it or not.
Oh,
It's a pretty cool movie.
I heard it was cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. And Riddick was the other one. Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of similar stuff there. And they're like, of course, they're like, hey, this planet is so secret. It's an impenetrable planet. Nobody will ever know she's here. And of course, the planet gets attacked. They're like, yep, there goes that. So yeah, so that was okay. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 2 by Guggenheim, Peralta, and Rosenberg. I don't know if you were on, John, the last time I talked about this book. This is like the other S.H.I.E.L.D. book that they're doing now.
Okay.
At the end of the last one, Coulson meets up with the woman who his car is named after, Lola. and she was an ex-girlfriend of his who, spoiler alert, apparently has telepathic abilities and was only in a relationship with him to get information. Specifically, information, because every universe has that list of how to kill all the heroes in case they go rogue. That's what we're dealing with in this book. It's like a protocol on how to kill a bunch of Marvel superheroes. That because Coulson, if you've read any of the comic books, besides the movie stuff, he's like this major superhero fanboy. And so, of course, besides knowing everything about all the superheroes, his brain went to, obviously, well, how would we kill them if something went wrong? So she was sent to extract that information. That information was compiled in a list, and then in recent events, that list has been stolen. So he has to team back up with her to find out who stole the list, why. Craziness ensues, but definitely a fun book. Beautiful artwork, great writing. Check it out. There's somebody running around in a stolen Iron Man suit who's the guy that stole the list. So, so that's always good stuff. But that's all I got for this week as far as what I read. Let's talk about TV because I know we got some Daredevil fans, and Daredevil Season 2 hits Netflix this week. So, guys, what are we looking forward to most about Daredevil Season 2?
I can't decide whether it's Elektra or if it's going to be the Punisher that I'm excited about. I mean, are we going to see some hand ninjas at the Elektra there? That's my big question.
Right.
Will the hand play a big part, or are they going to introduce Elektra teasing the hand? You know what I mean? I don't know what they're going to do. So I'm curious, but I think Homeboy as Punisher is going to. I think he's going to steal the show.
Yeah. I mean, John Bernthal, he's I'm new to The Walking Dead. I'm a huge fan, and of course he always plays this really tough, rough, gritty bad guy. I mean, I think casting him as the Punisher was a perfect piece of casting. I mean, I think there's to me, I feel like there's a very select few that could translate that character on a TV or movie screen well, and I think he's going to do an amazing job. How do you feel about the show in general, Daniel, being a fan of the Daredevil, and what are you excited about for Season 2?
I mean, I'm a big fan of especially the show's tone. Like the fact that it is the first. There's all these different avenues of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the fact that it's in this really interesting outlet with Netflix. Right out of the gate, they had an opportunity to do something that was different from everything else, and they took it. I think that the tone of the Daredevil books has been pretty set since Frank Miller. I mean, even when Mark Waid and Rivera and Samney did their reboot and run, it was always in the shadow, I guess, pun intended, of the fact that it was such a sunny book was an ever-present comment on the fact that it was previously not such a sunny book, and that was always looming in the background. And now, from what little I've read of the Charles Soule run, it's kind of back with all right, so we didn't know in the 60s that Spider-Man was going to be this and Daredevil was going to be this. Now we know. And the Netflix show, I think, as the way all the movies do, kind of try to find that core that's endured over the decades, and I think it succeeds. I think it's fantastic. I love the way it synthesizes everything that I loved from multiple seminal runs of the show.
Yeah, definitely.
The thing I'm looking forward to the most is possible return of Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk.
Yes.
I think that him and that relationship being so front and center and being such a real parallel. Not hero villain. But two men on opposite sides of the same goal.
Yeah.
So as much as I'm looking forward to all of the new stuff, I'm going to be secretly waiting for that Wilson and/or Vanessa cameo.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Daniel. Definitely. Kendall, your thoughts on the Daredevils?
I mean, I would say it's probably the best dramatic superhero show there's been so far. It's it succeeds to me in ways nothing else has ever really captured it. It's able to, it's like the equivalent of how good True Detective was in season 1, you know, for a show like that. And I'm really looking forward to Elektra, because in that 2-part trailer they did, you know, you see, like, you know, seeing for the first time, it's like, oh, she's not just going to be fighting in like jeans and a shirt. Like she somehow gets her own suit as well. And I know a lot of people disagree, but like his costume looks so good.
It looks good.
I love it so much.
I mean, I can tell you, I don't know. To me, I don't feel like I was the only one that had that oh shit moment when you finally saw him in the costume at the end of season 1.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, if he was gonna still run around in sweatpants and a tight shirt and like a hood over his head.
Oh, I've got some friends who liked the tight shirt.
No, yeah.
That shirt went over real well on the internet.
Yeah. Well, I just mean in the reality they've like this you know, armor that he puts on makes a whole lot more sense. So I'm excited about that.
Excellent. John, any final comments on Daredevil?
Yeah, my big question, and I might do a post for the site, but is who's the big bad? And I'm hoping it's Kingpin. I really would. But they've been so quiet about it. They're not making it out to be like. I mean, they're really playing up Punisher and Elektra and name-dropping the Hand. But who is the big guy at the end? There's got to be somebody. I don't see Punisher being that big guy throughout, because they're not. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
So I hope it's Kingpin or Bullseye. I mean, that's a possibility. They might be hiding him to the point where it'll be a nice. Oh my, you know, like that oh shit moment, and then season 3.
That would be so cool. And also, I don't want to rule out that in the later episodes they start mentioning Leland Owlsley's son. Yeah. And they could be prepping for like a more sort of like physical, like combat-oriented Owl character reveal.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely. Eliot, what were you going to say? You were going to say something about Punisher being the big bad or something.
Well, no, I mean, he's not a big bad. He's just not a good guy.
Yeah. True. Good point.
Yeah.
So last news topic, real quick. Of course, we got that huge second Civil War trailer.
Ooh, baby.
We're finally. Let's talk about what really the big oh shit moment in that one is. Of course, seeing Spider-Man for the first time. And
I mean, Spider-Man, he web slung Captain America's shield, and Captain just had to deal with that like a fucking little idiot diaper baby.
Okay. Obviously, there are a lot of the population who maybe just knows those characters from the movies were kind of like off-put by the costume. Us being comic fans, we thought it looked amazing, being that it was very similar to the comics. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on our initial first look at Spider-Man?
On point. It looks like what I assume is Tony Stark made it. It looks like exactly what you would make. Someone pointed out something I didn't notice, but like the web isn't raised, because why would the webbing be raised? You know, it's like there's like a real logic to the way it looks, and he's got the you know, the belt implication on him, and you know, I don't know, to me it's the most accurate, and that's saying that, like, you know, previously all the other ones were pretty accurate too. So it looked amazing. And I'm super excited.
I mean, for me, it's the moving eyes all the way. I think I made a joke about this on Twitter, but anybody who says that the superhero movie genre is dying needs to step off, because we just got moving mask eyes. Like with the arrival of Deadpool, and now
we finally have one.
Yeah, we're getting those Batman animated series eyes. They get big when he's scared, even though it's a mask. That's all I want, and it's happening.
Yep. That's so rad. I love that it'll have like there'll be an actual like practical reason for it, not just just to have crazy moving animated eyes. But
I'm sure there is, but
I mean, I think his costume makes the most sense for the world that Spider-Man is entering in the film genre right now. Like, it matches the tone of the Avengers and the aesthetic that you've been seeing in the Iron Man and Captain movies. I think if you were to have, like, that costume that you saw with the Garfield movies or the Maguire movies, he would look cartoonish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Yep.
Cartoonish.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know that Spider-Man was in those two Garfield movies and Jerry Maguire. I've seen all those. I never... What are you talking about, Elliot?
It was actually a tale of two kitties and a spider.
Oh, I remember now. I remember.
Yeah.
All of those things were set in Queens. And something Peter Parker.
Excellent. Well, guys, it's been amazing having you on the show tonight. We usually take 60 seconds each for a final thought at the end of the show. Mr. Eliot Rahal, you want to hit us up first with your final thought this week?
My final thought is please go buy the book tomorrow. And also, just to Daniel and Kendall, I'm very proud of us, and we made a great book, and I love working with both of you.
Awesome. Good stuff. Nice. We get a nice little mushy sentimental moment there. I love it.
It really puts us on the spot, Elliot.
Yeah.
Daniel, final thought for the week, sir?
I am very grateful for our team. I'm very grateful to you guys for having us, and I'm very grateful to have spent this long not talking about politics for the first time in months. It's been a nice breath of fresh air.
Well, we're glad we could provide that. We try to do that here. Daniel, thank you, man. Thank you for being on the show. Kendall, what's your final thought for the week, sir?
Buy the Doorman so I can keep making comics with these guys.
Woo!
Yeah. It's, this is awesome, and I'm glad people sound like they like it. So.
Yes, definitely check out the book, guys, tomorrow. John Reyes. Final
Yeah,
thoughts?
no, I'm always grateful to be on, but like I said at the beginning, before we were on, I appreciate you guys coming on. You could definitely tell that you guys really enjoy this project, and I think it's going to show when it's out and people read it, because you could tell with the art and the style and the humor in it. I think it's really going to do well. So, thank you for coming on again.
Yeah, thank you
so much.
Yes. John, your Twitter, once again, for our listeners.
Yeah, at Wordy Nerdy, 2 E's.
Beautiful. Everyone, as always, keep checking out thegww.com for all the latest from the GWW team. We got the latest and greatest on movies, comics, TV shows, games, tech. We got it all, so check it out. We're always posting new stuff to the site, and as always, thank you to every single one of the people that contribute to the site and the different podcasts and shows, and all of you make the GWW what it is, and we appreciate all your hard work. It's been awesome coming back to the show with such an amazing group of people. Thank you again, guys, for being on the show. All the best. We wish you all the best and success with the Doorman, and we hope to have you guys back on again. So thank you, gents.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Of course. As always, you can find me on Twitter at DARTH SPARROW. You can find our team at GWW Capes Crew. And that's going to be it for Tuesday. So as always, check us out next week. We look forward to seeing you again. And for myself, for the team, and for John, we will catch you guys on the Geek side. Boom.